mainly the Susanoo was the problem, and I kind of agree. I mean, we saw 50-meter fly making big plays. Even Dinosaur actually looked good on the Sobek with some hot plucks and some highlight reel plays he was making too, totally.
He set up the plays for 50-meter fly every now and then, just getting people in or getting his opponents in a better position for 50-meter fly to follow up. And I think that Eanix believes that Izanami on Zaxi was actually the issue, because Obey Alliance, they picked it after the secondary ban phase, and that's kind of what worked out for them. Zaxi was almost left untouched.
Untouched, yeah, and the Izanami, I think she has the highest DPS of really any ADC right now, and he played insane on it. I fully understand why they banned it here.
And despite the success that they had on the Kakalan, they're banning away here the Kakalan is Obey Alliance. They feel like Enix's first pick at Kakalan's first pick material here?
Absolutely. It was Obey Alliance that first picked it in game #1. They know its potential with the level 1 blink play. Once you hit level 5 for the knock-up, and then being able to transform for the Mesmerize ultimate, it makes so many opportunities for a potential first blood. Obey Alliance not wanting Eanix to get the ball rolling early.
The health shield you get when he turns into the monster is really, really good, and you can just full tank the mid abilities and really anything that comes your way.
Eanix response here with a soul ban, saying we don't want to see Delta Marine on that, and we don't want to see Zaxi on the Izanami. So they take those both away, and that leaves Xingqian open.
So surprisingly, we see a Willish ban from Obey Alliance. Now this leads me to believe that they're going to pick, maybe an Odin, maybe a Hou-Yi, something with jumps, or maybe even a Hunbass from Mifflin, knowing that every now and then he'll bring that back out and land.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Eanix jungler really likes Willish too. He plays it in almost every single SCL game he had, and he's just very comfortable on the god. So I think that's really why they banned it.
Real quick though, why didn't we see actually a Willish in the last set for Chaotic Purpose, you think?
I don't think she's that good this meta, honestly. I think the nerf to her Feather Step it was really crucial, and it really stunt her early game and the amount of stuff that she can do with it.
And this is just the nature of the meta right now. You ban away Izanami and Soul to limit the strong auto attackers, and then they get to first pick Hou-Yi anyway. That's just the world we live in, totally.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a Fafnir pick, but instead it's the Sun Wukong. Even despite the nerfs a couple patches ago, Dwurst loves this god.
Oh yeah.
This is Big Derek's god, Sun Wukong. This is one of his favorites.
Dwurst looking to pilot that Sun Wukong for Obey Alliance. Enix, though, they're going with the Serket pick here, and if you wanted to see perhaps Osric on something with a little bit more pressure than he had last game, well then Serket seems like that kind of god to me.
Especially ganking Dwurst, even if you don't necessarily kill him, the amount of ticks that the poisons is going to be applied during the Somersault Cloud is not going to allow the healing, so there's going to be a lot of danger in the solo lane.
And we already seen what Serket can do from the previous set. Maulus ran a train with this god, so we can definitely see the power of Serket, and hopefully that this jungler can also do what Maulus did in the previous set.
That's going to be the goal for him. That was a very impressive performance from Miles. We'll see if Osric can perhaps make it to that same level as Raijin locked in here for Eanix. And we saw just how well 50-meter fly played in the last game. So something like the Raijin that can really turn a team fight here.
Hey, was that Ron Jobber?
Who?
Oh, yeah.
Literally who?
Yeah.
No Actually who?
Yeah.
Either way.
Too soon?
Raijin selected here for Eanix. That's going to be their pick to try and give 50-meter fly something that he can run really well with, despite how well he played on the Nox. Do you like here, Matt Koiz, that Raijin pick for him, or for likely going to be going to him?
I love it, actually. The fact that he went 7-0 on Nox means that if a god like Raijin is so OP and does so much damage, he can maybe even carry even harder than last game.
We were talking about it actually before picks and bans of game #1, the preference that Delta Marine will like to go. And I asked you if we're going to see the Hebo or any sort of shenanigans, and here we are. And I think Eanix was trying to focus out Delta Marine by banning away the Soul, picking Raijin, forcing him into a different pick.
Yeah, he actually really likes the Hebo. I'm pretty sure he played it back at the World Championship to stop my Athena. But yeah, I like the god. Delta, if anybody can run it, he can, and we'll see what happens.
And after having a strong game last time, picking that Hobwa, coming out, looking to do a whole lot of damage, as you said, it feels like just about everything in his kit does damage somehow. I mean, even the water card probably hits for something, right? I mean, it's just everything in his kit.
I mean, it doesn't hit, but it might as well have been a utility ultimate, being able to not only amplify yourself, but your teammates' movement speed and slow all opponents. And I think it lasts for 6 seconds, and if you have 40% cooldown reduction, you can actually have 2 of them up at the same time for like half a second.
Too much. It's a lot that Hobaw's able to do, so let's see if he can pilot it and get the most out of it. Muzenkov and Ganesh were the bans for Obey in that second phase as Geb and Osiris taken off there by Eanix, so turning a bit of an eye towards limiting Geb, but even with the Sun Wukong up, still banning the Osiris, I think it's likely to be in the jungle there. Mifflin might be able to run that there, Matt Coyce?
Yeah, the double warriors is Obey's like bread and butter. If Mifflin can get a warrior and just dive the backline, that's what he prefers. And I'm pretty sure they thought Wukong would go jungle, so they just banned the Osiris in turn.
Is there any chance that Jelly runs the Sun Wukong here? Or is it going to be Artio?
Jelly actually has run it in the past. I'm pretty sure he likes the god. It does, you can't really die as it, so if the Circuit could look to, you know, focus out the support, and Jelly can just all get in those clouds and he'll be safe.
Sylvanas locked in for Eanix, along with the Uller. We talked a little bit about this earlier, so likely going to be for Vaporish Coast to pilot that, and then the Sylvanas to give him a little bit of sustain, and that knock-up is very potent in team fights too, so if they can get the most out of that.
Well, now Sobek, last pick for Obey Alliance. That god should be definitely piloted by Jelly's hands. Sun Wukong was worse. I'm expecting this Artio to go into Mifflin simply because that crippling field will shut down 2 of the abilities from Osric.
Yeah, Sobek, that's Jelly's favorite god. You think of Jelly, you think of Sobek. So, yeah, I can definitely see the Artio jungle. But I actually think it might be Wukong jungle. I think Mifflin really likes the warrior jungles, and I'm pretty sure the Artio is going to go solo, so...
Well, that's the strength of this kind of composition, having such versatile players. You know, it's hard to tell where exactly it's going to go, but since we got both these comps rounded out, let me go ahead and get y'all's picks here. Totally, who you think's got it?
I think Obey has too much momentum here, despite how well some of the players from Eanix played in game number 1. Overall, Obey.
All right, Matt Coy.
I think Obey is unfortunately going to win this game. I'm praying for Eanix to come and, you know, get that split, but Obey's comp is looking really strong.
Well, let's see if Obey can get that 2-0 here up against Eanix. Let's go ahead and get it over to the casters.
Eanix and Obey, fantastic matchup here, as the desk said. And honestly, Obey might have the momentum, but I think Eanix absolutely came out to play today.
They really did, and this is a good draft for them. Raijin is one of 50-meter fly's best gods. He's played it for a long time. He's very comfortable on it, and he was the standout player for Eanix in game 1. Eanix first picking the Xing Chen to take it away from Doris, an interesting idea, and Predators is one of their really strong players, can perform on this god, but to pick a low-pressure god right away is a little bit concerning to me. If Obey can just pull out the pressure, invade that right-hand side, Osric struggled in game 1. If I'm Obey, I'm looking to continue to put pressure on Osric, make him uncomfortable. That was the link that seemed to break a little bit for Eanix, and that's where I'd be looking to try and exploit here in game 2.
Yeah, Eanix did a lot of the work. Eanix did a lot of the work when it came down to the regular season. Excuse me. Osric did a lot of the work for Eanix when it came to the regular season. Whether or not he was 7-0 and 100, different story. Usually set up players. Now on the Circuit, going to be looking at dealing the damage himself. But Osric not showing up today, I think, is a big reason why Eanix winds up with the L.
And this is a very volatile matchup with the RTO in the jungle, because both characters kind of counter one another. I mean, you look at Circuit, all her damage comes from a dash. RTO has the cripple field, so that's going to be difficult to pull off. But a lot of what RTO wants to do is sustain-oriented. And what does Circuit do? Shut down all healing. So this can go either way. Whoever can get a lead on the other. If Mifflin can get a lead onto Osric and just run him down, not care about the last breath damage, and just chase Osric to the ends of the earth, this is going to be a nightmare matchup for him in the jungle. But if Osric can get ahead, then Mifflin is going to feel very squishy. He's not going to feel very impactful. The heals are going to be non-existent, and this could go Eanix's way.
I'm also very, I don't know, man. I'm kind of over the jungle matchup. Very rarely are the junglers by themselves in this meta. They're always holding hands with a mid laner or a solo laner. So for me,
But they're almost always around one another. It's always a 2v2 fight in the solo lane with your solo laner. It's a 3v3 fight in the mid. And while you're right, they're not going to be 1v1ing. They never will. But they're going to be around the same spot, and they're going to try and focus down one another because of these counter matchup potentials.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, you're just never going to see the I'm at your speed buff, and you're there, and no one else is around. That just doesn't happen in professional Smite anymore. I feel like once upon a time that was actually a thing, where your jungle matchup.
Nice feeds there by Delta Marine. Now 50-meter Fly gets tossed into the tower. Great knock-up to keep that CC chain going. Fly getting low, and it's going to be up to Jelly to finish it off.
And one more. Jelly can't find it. Instead, he's taking damage. It's the trade out, but it's Eanix on the board first. They're the one with the loot pinata. Grats to Eanix.
That ends up being okay, because especially with Delta Marine probably going to fall. He dodged it, but Predator's still going to get credit. The dots from Dinosaur probably would have done it either way. Good start for Eanix thus far. Osric left alone in this solo lane to allow Predators to rotate. That's a play that I'm sure caught Obey by surprise. Not something you're used to seeing.
And that's what I was talking about. Eanix becoming one of these higher end teams. That's a big boy play as far as the thought process is concerned. And Mifflin, you thought. Predators puts number 3 up right now. Hot start for Eanix.
And
wow.
Eanix getting loud. You can hear them on that arena. They're getting excited. They know that they can adjust and try and take a game up against Obey here. And you heard Matt Kors on the desk. It's important if they can find a game.
Knock up again. Dinosaur and the immobile Guardian going to be able to walk out of there no problem. 50-meter fly again, dishing the damage back to Delta Marine.
And that's going to favor Eanix every time, even with taking a tower shot or two because of those heals from Dinosaur, keeping himself topped up, keeping 50-meter fly topped up. And Delta Marine taking poke is not what you want on Hebo. Hebo needs to really use his health as a resource for as long as he can because he wants to play aggressive.
Exactly. He's going to sort of nice jump through. Zaxing on the bad side of things. Dinosaur coming through. The beads are over, looking for it. Finds the root. Finds the knockup. That's going to be trouble. One more. 50-meter fly. 2-1-0 in the 3rd minute.
Obey seems to have relaxed a little bit too much after their Game 1 performance. And don't get me wrong, they looked really, really good in Game 1, but you can't afford to just take it lightly coming into Game 2, or else Eanix is going to hit you just like they have. And every single lane has had a victory in Eanix's favor. It's been mid lane getting the first blood onto 50-meter fly, onto Jelly with the kill, with the death there. It's Obey losing their right-hand side, with Mifflin finding the death because of Predator's good rotation and ultimate. Now on the left-hand side, so it's everywhere for Eanix so far. It's just a matter of where they're going to put their focus moving forward. You can't win all 3 lanes all the time very easily like they have thus far. You have to really dedicate yourself to destroying one lane, and it could be mid.
Again the pull. Delta Marine's going to get out of trouble by way of the ult. 50-meter fly just barely not there yet. Knock up good. Only 1 shot from the tower, so Fly will be all right for the moment. What's impressive here to me, Ryan, is the fact that Eanix have gotten kills in multiple types of scenarios. They got the kill just straight, like me versus you. They got the response kill where Obey started the party and they're able to get out and get the kill. And then they make the really strategic kill, the one that impressed me with the solo lane rotation, leaving the jungler by himself. Multiple forms of revenue, if you will. And I'm eating it up, man. I'm eating it.
Exactly. And Eanix just has to keep this momentum going in their favor.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I've noticed thus far is going into the mid to late game, this is what, 2-3 plucks now that 50-meter fly has not beads, hasn't had the bad beads, you know, the boosh beads, if you will, where you beads yourself in the middle of the air and you're just like, well, that sucks because now they're worthless to me now. You need to beads those in the mid game because he will not get a chance to jump out sooner rather than later. I mean, Hebo knockup into Hebo ult is going to be a death just about every time, and he has got to be on point with that relic usage. It's what separates the good players from the great ones, how well you can use your beads and manage them when you need to use them and when you don't. Thus far, it's working out.
Exactly.
It's worked out. He hasn't had to use them, but he's gonna need to pretty soon.
Yeah, some of these plucks are actually the ones that I sit there and I go, wow, you knew you weren't going to die there, so you did not expend your purification beads. I like that play. That's impressive. That's deep knowledge of the game, your character, their character, right? Being able to understand the actual risk assessment is an important part of the game. So, you know, I like that style, honestly.
And Zach needs to be a little bit more careful on the left-hand side. He went aggressive, trying to find the solo kill on the Vaporish Coast, and that's been a knock on his play for a little bit, is that sometimes he will be a little bit over-aggressive in that lane. As soon as you hear enemies are on your side of the map, jumping in is immediately off the table. Unless you can one-shot the opposition without any hesitation and still try and get out, you have to play more passively than that.
Now Vapor going to head back to base. Zaxi being aggressive paid off in this regard as well. Like you said, nobody's on his side of the map, so he has the luxury of doing so. And because of strong vision from Obey, they have all the information in the world. You can see the two red dots right exactly where Obey is trying to get out. Meanwhile, Dinosaur's in some trouble here. A little bit of help from his friends by way of the ultimate out of the mid lane, but that'll be that.
Got the beads, the sprint from 50-meter fly and Dinosaur respectively. Got the ult out from the Raijin as well, all just for Jelly's ultimate. So that's a good win for Obey Alliance. And if they can put that pressure now onto 50-meter fly without those purification beads, that's a really good lane for them to try and get back ahead.
more time, the Suns come down. Zaxi looking for the kill by himself. Vapor jumps out, no problem, has half a level lead now. Also the mana lead as well. Looking for the stun onto Zaxi. Misses by a mile, can't find it, walks into the jungle.
Zach, I like the idea there that you want to catch Uller during that changeover from bow stance to axe stance and hit him with the ricochet, but just not quite quick enough on the shot.
Ooh, Eanix going for the pull, more for the fight. Knock up, Mifflin in trouble. There's a toss. Mifflin's dead before he hits the ground. Vapor on the good side of things. Gonna be another member of Obey sitting down, and it's Jelly. 50-meter fly combines with the Hunter. 2 kills, and Gold Fury seems to be the prize.
Yeah, this is going to be gone. I mean, Dwarf's the only one around, and he might come around the back here trying to steal it away. This could be a big play for Obey if he gets it.
Oh, too late. Eanix gets the Gold Fury, and the Bird going to miss out by the kiss. So Osric on the good side. Predators here going to pop up, won't cut off the exit. And Dwarf still running on the right side. Looks like Osric giving up.
I just really don't understand the selection for Mifflin here. I mean, what went right for Obey early game last game? Mifflin got to play aggressive. He got big. He transferred that to the rest of the team. RTO jungle is never getting big in the early game. It's like, don't hit me, please, until I'm ready. You like pause and wait for me to get ready, which is exactly what you want the NA teams to be doing to the European teams who like to play the late game.
It's like Warlock Sash the creature.
Exactly. Like, just wait a little bit and then I'll be real scary. But Eanix says, no, why are we going to wait around? We're just going to beat you up in the early game. And that's exactly what they've done so far. This pick just does not synergize with what Obey likes to do in the jungle, in my mind, and where they have their most success, at least from a spectator's point of view.
And at the same time, that is definitely a mental misstep from Obey Alliance. But Eanix, on the other hand, Zaxi goes in, the stun is good, beads are chased out. No beads for Vapor, still looking for the turnaround, dancing in the Suns. 2 more will do it, he's in the Suns, he gets the jump, he gets the axe kill. Vapor takes Zaxi to combo town.
And that's the bead still going in Vapor's favor as well. He held on to his purification beads, even getting stunned in the Suns. You want to talk about being confident and knowing how much damage you're going to be taking. That's exactly what that Uller was all about.
Woof. That's the play. That's how Eanix wins this game, by just having the audacity to say, who are you? Obey Alliance? Does not ring a bell. I'm here. Eanix, we're here to play. Oh my goodness. You mentioned momentum. That's all I'm seeing. There's so much wind in these guys' sails, they might capsize.
Yeah, they really are. Everything is going their way right now, and Obey has to figure out somewhere where they can get something on the map. Looks like that portal demon may have gone down. Or no, it hasn't even spawned yet. There's been so much action. I figured it was past 10 minutes.
It's 9:50, and Eanix still
Mifflin's
crushing
dead again.
it. There's the pull. Mifflin in trouble. Everybody looking at the audio, including the Grim Reaper. Osric brings him all the way down, and it's a 4v5 one more time. That portal demon is spawned now, Guy, and it looks like Obey Alliance want to play defense.
And they have to, because they can't really afford to give up more neutral gold to Eanix, but I don't think they have anything to say about it. I mean, Delta Marine, he's going to go back to base. He had boots in Tiny Trinket. He's not doing any damage to anyone yet with that build, and so Obey Alliance give up another objective. This one's the portal demon. And we're only 10 minutes in, Tom, and this is a 5K gold lead nearly for Eanix.
Exactly. Listen, Hebo, Hubwa, RTO, even Hoyi, these characters, you lose late game. So you got to win early game. And Eanix doing exactly that. And again, you know, I was talking about the multiple ways Eanix have done it. Well, add another one, because Vaporus just went toe-to-toe with one of the more notorious hunters in the entire scene, and comes up big. Yeah, he really did. Big.
And this is a guy who's commanded respect in the EU SCL. A lot of players talking about him as one of the better players in that role. And it's a fairly competitive role in the European scene, actually. I mean, Atonement's a great ADC. You look at what Dobson did for Rival. I mean, there are good players in that role in Europe. It's not a role that's lacking. And Vaporish has been one of the guys that people are talking about as one of the better performers in that area. And certainly bringing it over to America and showing it off thus far. 2-0-3s, top of the XP per minute charts. He's been doing plenty of damage on that Uller. And I love this decision to just give him the red buff. Let him keep going, man.
No, absolutely. Yeah, that's what you do. You've earned this red buff. You destroyed Zaxi. That was, and like you said, I mean, he earned style points in that one as well. Just look good doing it.
Just disrespectful to not use the beads, in all honesty. I mean, how do you lose that trade when he holds the beads and stands in the Suns?
Just the straight disrespect he's out of it, man. Gotta love it.
And that's the kind of swagger you want to see from a team on LAN. And that's the kind of swagger that Obey has a lot of the time, where they're the ones who are just doing things that shouldn't work and somehow do. This time it's going the other way.
And now he's starting to feel himself. He's making these back baits. He's looking for it. And this is not only is this fun to watch, but this is also the competition that NA's been asking for. They've been asking for this. Mifflin here in town. Vaporish, got to be careful. He's going to jump away. But the talk comes out, too, as he wipes his forehead. That's a silent play I want to watch.
And I like the idea there that he knows something's going on. Something's going on in the mid lane is the blink in from Osric, but that's not the ults that you want to expend for Eanix. Now Obey has an opportunity because, I mean, Circuit ult so far, with how far ahead Osric is and how far behind Obey are, is almost an instant kill in a lot of areas. Saving that for the Gold Fury, now not having Blink, not having Raijin ult, not having Circuit ult, is actually a fairly big window of opportunity for Obey to potentially play aggressive.
Yeah, I liked that play when it resulted in Osric Blink ulting, pushing into 50-meter fly's ult, and just blowing somebody up.
Right, and that's what against that was against the Artio, who, her escape can be interrupted. You don't have the option to just go straight into a CC immune ultimate and sit there like Jelly does. That not the target there necessarily for Eanix.
Yeah, kind of a bad beat there for Eanix right now. Osric, however, going to jump forward. Miss Xaxes with the Death Bane. And so players on Eanix have to be a little bit more careful. Damage not dealt the way they thought it'd be.
Though Osric doesn't commit anything there. I mean, Vaporish doesn't commit anything there. Xaxes has to use the ult, so that's another win for Eanix in a small regard.
Still can collapse on the dual lane. Jelly playing it relatively safe. Forced here. Grab, stunned out as well. Knock up is good. 50-meter fly gets another kill. That's 4 for the Raijin. And the 4v5 power plays on. And the Gold Fury is going to be grabbed.
Jelly's still here along with Xaxes. There's a blink in from Predators looking for Mifflin with the knock up. And again, throwing him right into the teeth of Eanix.
He's going to be gone. He's tossed. He hits the ground this time, Ryan. But he's gone quickly after that. Osric gets credit. He jumps, tries to cut off Xaxes. Forces Xaxes to the right-hand side, where there's 2 members of Eanix waiting. Osric doesn't have the kiss up just yet. Gonna deal battle with the Hunter. Has the Hebo behind him. Hebo surfs the wave, but Predators looking for the Hunter. Gets pushed out by Jelly. I think Eanix goes a little over-aggressive there.
This is where the inexperience shows, because that should have been an instant Gold Fury pull from Eanix right after that pick onto Mifflin. Now, they've got the numbers advantage still, forcing Xaxes out.
Ooh,
but the Gold Fury is going to be a lot riskier, and Eanix not really sure if they want to go for it or just go for the Oracles. Jelly did have to use the ultimate, and Delta Marines is down as well.
FHP on the objective. Predators doing a decent job of zoning so far. Can't do it anymore. Dinosaur very low. Eanix does get the Gold Fury. Will they trade their support for it? That's the question. Likely a yes. Predators has to get out of here and just give up his tree man.
That's worth it. Absolutely worth it for Eanix, but that was risky. You want to talk about a way to get a defending world champion team into the game? How about a coin flip Gold Fury for you? That took some wherewithal from Eanix to pull that one, but it ends up on top. And sometimes, you got to put yourselves in positions to succeed and then just leave it up to fate. And that it worked out so far for Eanix.
I mean, that was calculated aggression, I'll say. I think Eanix, you go into some situations and you're like, we're just going to roll the dice. That's what I mean by that.
But this is not the game to do it, man. You're up 5K at 15 minutes, a little bit less than that before the Gold Fury.
So if they lose that Gold Fury, they're still up 3,000. And I think that's why Eanix goes for it.
But I just do not want to give a team like Obey momentum on LAN ever. I mean, that is a
Well, it's a good thing they did it.
And it's a good thing they secured it. Exactly.
And
that's always the argument, right? Well, it worked out.
I rolled a 6.
Sure, but, in my mind, that was the wrong call for Eanix that ends up doing the right thing for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I say it all the time, though. 5 players following the same wrong call will be the right call some percentage of the time.
Whatever that some percentage was, Eanix just rolled.
Exactly. And, it's I really like that one, by the way. Dinosaur going to miss off the pull. Portal Demon started 90% so far. Zone duty. Dinosaur, Predators. Mifflin has done nothing this game but die, and that's been a really big issue for Obey. Dinosaur up front, dropping the ultimate. Meanwhile, Portal Demon off the board, going to be taken by Obey Alliance, and the rest of the team fight looks like it's going to go their way as well. Dinosaur with the water hands, but off screen, Vaporish able to take down the jungler. Zaxi able to take down the mid lane support. It's going to be 1-for-1 so far, but the double kill going to Zaxi.
And that's exactly what Obey need. They get an objective steal. They get a double kill onto their Hunter, who even though he got soloed in that lane, got baited in for another death, is still not that far behind in XP. In fact, he's taking a lead now over Vaporish. That's a big swing in Obey Alliance's favor. And even though Mifflin does exactly what he did the rest of the game, die without any real damage, Zaxi in some trouble, but will be able to jump away. Now Jelly gonna join him in that trouble department. 50-meter fly up and over the wall. Zaxi got no jump.
Oh, the Aegis is gonna be early. Zaxi's gonna take some damage from Osric's ultimate. Here comes Delta Marine. The water cannon will just hit once. Keep an eye on Zaxi. He's relatively low, about a quarter of HP.
No relics as well, so it's a good call from Obey Alliance to back up. Even though Mifflin just dies in the front line again, just like he has been all game, what do we hear in this arena but Mifflin yelling for Zaxi to be getting the double kill? He might have just killed himself so that he could get a better angle of Zaxi farming the opposition. And that's, all jokes aside, having that guy on your team is critical for a LAN environment. I mean, Obey feels like garbage right now. They're getting beat by a team they feel like they shouldn't be losing to. They've gotten beaten every lane so far, and you need the guy who's going to be telling you that you're still sick, you're still a beast, and you're going to beat them regardless of that. And that's important, especially for it to be the guy who's getting crushed right now.
He's getting creamed, but he's still bringing it. That's exactly, you need that attitude. Listen, Obey have made some mistakes, but make no shake about it. Eanix are playing better Smite than Obey is on this battlefield right now.
Yes.
And as a team, as the defending world champions, that hurts. That's not what you want to see. And you need Mifflin just out there going, 0-5 and what? Nah, man, Zaxi with the double kill, right? Like,
yeah, look at Zach, stupids. He's way better than me. Like, that's the sort of thing that you're going to hear. and whether it's Mifflin on this team, whether it's Mollusk for Soar, you know, every team needs to have that guy in order to keep yourself up in the game mentally, you know, without worrying about what's actually happening. I mean, you have to be, you know, actually ignorant of what's happening to you on the battlefield to be excited at that moment in a lot of ways. But that's important. I mean, you have to, you know, it's the mind over matter. It's making your own reality, basically. And that's in the mental game here at LAN is so much more important than ever we could really ever impart onto the viewer. I mean, until you've done it, it's so important to keep your head about you, and it's not always easy. Especially here, you know, I hate to keep bringing it up, but especially here on the console scene, there's so much character, there's so much pride, and there's so much on the line. You know, I think these teams would show up even if there wasn't a prize pool. That's how I feel about these guys, and it's so much fun to be able to sit next to the pit and listen to them just go nuts over every play. I would definitely see them coming without any sort of prize pool. I could hear it now. I just want to beat you on LAN for fun.
Well, right now, it's Osric versus the world, but here comes Predator's elbow. He grabs two! He grabs two! Dinosaur's gonna fall down. There's gonna be another one. His name is Dworst. Predator's giving chase. Delta Marine is next. The blink is too good. Predator's still gonna try and catch up while the rest of his team does the Gold Fury. Zaxi's in town, but so is everybody else. Predators is back from chasing down a Hobla. Osric might go down. No, he won't. He's taking down Zaxi. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 14-5, 20 minutes in, and Eanix are leading Obey Alliance by almost 10,000.
That was the most important fight of the game. That was the one where Obey had a chance to really come storming back. They've hit mid-game. Delta Marine's got penetration online. What can he do? And nothing, because Predators has been huge on this Xing Chen.
All game.
I questioned the Xing Chen first pick, but no more, man. He's been killing it so far for Eanix.
He has.
Did it again.
Delta Marine just gets destroyed, deleted, obliterated, just wrecked. And Mifflin suffers the same fate, his 6th death of the contest. Fire Giant still, well, doing its thing. And Jelly's here, so is Dworst over the wall. Eanix got to play this one safe, Ryan. This is not a safe play.
Dinosaur looks likely to fall. Dworst going up. Jelly gonna get credit for one, and Dworst trying to keep the Fire Giant least. Dinosaur's gonna fall as well, and Fire Giant's getting low.
It's still there. Eanix does get the Fire Giant. They're also gonna take out Dworst. This is the third 50-50 play we've seen. And they've come up good twice.
Sometimes, man, you just got Lady Luck on your side, I suppose. Those are two critical objectives that end up going to Eanix. And look, Fire Giant going down for Obey there doesn't automatically change the game. I mean, it only goes on to Zaxi, who is the ADC, because everyone else is dead for Obey Alliance. But it means that Vaporish and Fly get it on the other side. If Predator's having it for that extra HP 5, not a bad thing. You know, you get some extra regen on that Ching Chen, who's already regenning through the roof anyways. What matters is that Eanix get it out of Zaxi's hands and put it onto the hands of their Hunter. And those have been the two players so far to watch in this match, at least the lane-by-lane matchups. I mean, Vaporish obviously getting the better end in the lane, but this Zaxi's team fight presence has been really, really good. I mean, he's put on so much damage in these last few team fights, and a lot of what Obey's been able to almost do has revolved around Zaxi. Now, he still needs a Titan's Bane to push through this damage, or the protections, I should say, from Predators coming out of that solo lane, but he's working on an Odysseus bow, trying to keep the damage flowing throughout the team fight, which is actually a pretty good idea because Eanix has been very grouped so far in this game.
Trying to keep it together. Osric here on the flank side. Does have the option to blink over the wall if that's what he wants to do. It looks like that's the call. There it is. There's a taunt onto the Hobwa. He's clearly the target. Predators grabs two. Dwarst is in trouble. The ultimate at 50-meter fly. Dwarst is going to be totally fine. Can't say the same about Predators. This is the turnaround. Zaxi takes down the solo laner. Doesn't matter how tanky he is. Mifflin low. Jelly low. But nobody from Eanix is turning around. Dinosaur is going to fall if he doesn't get out of there. Zaxi with another kill. He's the one keeping Obey in this fight.
Zax leading the charge, jumping in first. Delta Marine's going to get another one, and it's a 3-for-0 underneath their tier 2 tower. What a fight. And Dwarst using the ultimate early on in that engagement ends up coming up huge because Eanix blow everything on the Wukong decoy.
It juked me. I thought he was dead, dude.
And I think everyone did.
It was a decoy. That is... I can't say first because Wukong has been out the entirety of the Pro League. That is one of the first times that a Sun Wukong decoy has actually tricked a team.
And it works out huge for him. 50-meter fly is lurking here in the jungle, and Obey don't know. They don't have any wards right there, but a wise decision to back up. He has done so much for this team. You cannot afford to take a spill there. That's a big turnaround for Obey Alliance. They cut a nearly 10K gold lead into a 5K gold lead, just like that. And it gets them closer to those really important power items. It's the Odysseus bow for Zaxi that I was talking about. Delta Marine working on that Rod of Tahuti. Mifflin could use any sort of defense in the world. He could get 10 items right now, and I'm not sure that he would be able to survive with how much all of Eanix has been dumping into him. And that's the first time that Mifflin doesn't fall right at the beginning of the engagement, and the chase ends up being fruitful for Obey in large part because of his extra long-range CC.
You know, it's actually very interesting is that if you watched, again, the last time that we saw Jungle RTO was we saw Elevate played in PC Super Regionals, and basically what wound up happening was he got farmed. He was 0-7 before his team started to win because the opposition just focused him the entire time. And that works in the early game, and frankly, it works in the mid game as well for an RDO. And when the late game comes, you're just killing a tank and you don't actually get the kill. So Eanix actually intelligently altered. They've been going after the RDO the entire game, and then this time they go for the Hebo instead. I like the target change, Ryan, but Obey was waiting for it.
They were ready, and using that ultimate to put damage onto Osric and get himself out of CC. Really quick reaction from Delta Marine, and that was a big reason why Obey was able to turn it around. Now this next Gold Fury, not quite as impactful as the last one, but still could be the deciding factor in this game. If Obey can get a big team wipe here, not only are they getting gold, but they might be just getting a Phoenix on the left-hand side, and they are late game enough where that is on the table.
3 coin flips so far from Eanix. First one was Gold Fury, comes up heads. Second one was Portal Demon, comes up really badly, tails. And the third one was Fire Giant, which came up heads as well. Eanix, I don't think this is a coin flip they want to take. I think we should put all the quarters away and actually just go fight for fight. Damage onto Worst, not too much. Chased out, bird down.
And the relics, they're each team waiting for their relics to be back up. Now that Delta Marine has those beads available, he's willing to be in this fight once more.
Obey Alliance backing off a little bit tactically. You see Jelly on the right side. This is really good positioning coming out from them. Dwarst, however, going to start to filter in. Gold Fury pulled, but it's really just to entice Obey to come closer. Eanix are doing the right thing by not fighting into where Obey want them to.
Good poke there on a Dwarst, bringing him down to 2/3 HP. Jelly loses a quarter as well. And just a perfect reset back from Eanix. Let Predators, the only one who's taken any poke, just use those heals from Dinosaur, use that extra HP 5 from the Xing Chen kit, and that Stone of Gaia.
And Eanix pretty deep so far, and this is why they didn't want to go that deep. There's going to be Predators just collapsed on. He's been so tanky all game, but this time not a good thing. Dinosaur grabs 3 with the knockup, but there's no damage on the other side. Again, it's a Wukong decoy. Eanix go for it a second time.
And what do they do there? The play that's been working all game long. Predators just walks up, hits Mifflin with the ult, and dies right away. I mean, look at how many relics are down, though, for Obey. Literally every single one except for Delta Marine's Blink and Zaxxy's Aegis.
Yep. And the response was right. Eanix need to win this team fight, but it's not going to happen. Osric looking for 1, and, well, Doris looking for Vapor. Everybody turning around and looking at Osric. Gold Fury still alive for the moment. Fly does not have ultimate. Not going to be able to take this one. So there's the Gold Fury. And in the words of Obey, let's go. Might have had a little bit more gusto.
Maybe a little bit. Mifflin's pumped up to get a Gold Fury at this point. Honestly, I don't blame him. And just exactly, that is such a great point that you bring up the Elevate game at Super Regionals on the PC side of things, because this game is so similar to that. It's not the double hunter, but it's still late game oriented with the Habwa in the mid lane instead of something like a Hu Yi. It's, we just blow everything on the RDO and haha, we win the team fight because we're up 5v4 right away. That's exactly what Eanix tried to do right there, and they get bodied for doing it. So there's some sort of saying somewhere about, like, if you don't learn from your history, you're doomed to repeat it, or something. There's something along those lines, and that's exactly what's happening to Eanix in this game. They did not learn from what happened to the team that was playing up against Elevate Obey Alliance.
Yeah,
which is some poetic justice that Obey is the one on the console side who is getting crushed in the early game with the RDO jungle, and then they have the same thing happen where they're starting to turn it around.
And for what it's worth, you know, I know that Adabraxi is a big team guy. I know he's definitely rooting on a squad here, so like you said, a little bit of poetic justice there. Predator's just in the wrong spot. You can't be there at this point in the game, man. 28 minutes, you cannot get caught. Predators, luckily for him, is a Xing Chen at 28 minutes, so he can get caught, but he can't get caught that often.
Got that blink available, the Hand of the Gods that's upgraded now to be that stun in an AoE. Could just try and blink in, use that to get some purification beads, and then use the ultimate after the fact. But it has to be more careful about who he's initiating on in this fight.
Pivotal fight of this game, Ryan. He who wins this fight, I think, might take the game.
Absolutely, and I mean, the gold lead is now non-existent, and the power items that I was talking so much about, done for Obey Alliance. Rod of Tahuti, complete for Delta Marine. Odysseus Bow, complete for Zaxxy. Now, he's still not as strong as Vaporish, who's got the full build. He's got the Titan's Bane and the Odysseus Bow, but Zach pretty close behind with that mace finished off.
18 to 12, 29.5 on the clock. Obey Alliance and Eanix tied here. Right now, Mifflin going to take some damage. Being pulled in by the mid lane mage. There's going to be a toss. Predators gets the kill, starting things off. Dinosaur with a humongous ultimate, knocking up 3 and dealing the damage. This time, we all know it's a decoy. We know it's a decoy. We know it's a decoy. Not going to be tricked this time. 5 men strong. Mifflin goes down. Obey Alliance retreat. Fire Giant, the portal at least, going to be Eanix's. The Fire Giant, just go for the Fire Giant.
I think that's the right call here because Zaxxy doesn't have beads, neither does Delta Marine. Delta Marine doesn't have his ultimate, but still going to be doing good damage. Zaxxy pushing forward, putting good poke onto Dinosaur as the rest of Eanix comes through the portal. And now they're thinking about starting it up. Remember, Obey Alliance has ward vision here. Might be because Zaxxy's bags, Jelly is back, full HP. This is a little bit too late now for Eanix. They've got to pull off and take the fight. It's still in their favor in a 5v4.
Right. So far, still at positioning. 5 players strong. This is, okay. I was just going to applaud them for leashing it, but they're going to go right back at it again. You know what? They've won 2 out of 3 coin flips, Ryan. They've won 2 out of 3 coin flips. It looks like they're going to go for a 4th. Here comes Predators on the right-hand side. Vapor going to deal some damage as well, so it looks like the pull is on. Vapor gets plucked up and in trouble, jumps away into the Fire Giant pit. Dwarf's going to ult and look for the jump on top of him. Good. There's the hit, but Aegis is stronger. Hunter's still alive. Zaxxy takes out the zoner, however. 2 players chasing. Double un! Zaxxy! North America! Delta Marine coming through as well. 3 dead on the side. of Eanix.
And again, the inexperience at land shows through. Eanix just a little bit too hesitant with what they want to do, and Obey Alliance cool and collected underneath the pressure. Come back, and Zaxi, I mean, as much as this guy just got handled in lane, and there's no two bones about it, he did by Vaporish, his team fight has been way, way stronger. And honestly, give me a Hunter who loses lane and bodies team fights every day of the week.
Absolutely.
You need your Hunter to come in. I don't care what my ADC is doing in lane at 8 minutes. You can have fun over there, dude. There's a reason no one comes over, because it's boring. You're just a Hunter who does no damage. Exactly. Come 30 minutes, you're doing big damage, and you are our guy who's going to be shredding tanks. And that's exactly what Zaxi's done. Look at his player damage. He's nearing 30K already.
Yeah, incredible. He's 8,000 above the Hunter that soloed him once or twice in lane. He's being, I mean, he is the light in the darkness for Obey Alliance. If Zaxi is not present, Obey Alliance don't fight their way back into this. I mean, this has been Eanix's game. If there's any chance to look at the graphs, I'd love to illustrate the way that this game has gone so far, because Eanix has just controlled this game up until 25 minutes. And then very slowly, bit by bit, you see one team fight, two team fight, and then that last one where you just jump off the cliff. 25 minutes. This was Eanix's game. We're 32 in, and it looks like Obey is firmly in the driver's seat.
And this is what Obey has really been missing for the majority of this year. After the spring split, they lose Air Cougar, who put this team together, has been there, done that. He's on the World Championship team. And Cougar was just one of the most reliable ADCs you could ever ask for.
Reliable.
Yeah, exactly. And he always played way better on land than he ever did online. And that was part of what made this team really, really great, is that Air Cougar was the preparation guy for them. He was the guy who got everything ready in picks and bans, and then transitioned into game. It was always super reliable. Sometimes he get caught out of position, but late game team fights in particular, Air Cougar was in the right spot.
He's going 5-5-5 with a zillion player down.
Exactly, and that allowed the rest of the team, specifically Delta Marine, to do his job great, because everyone knew that they had to focus on Air Cougar because he would do his job otherwise. This is what Obey was missing, and Zaxi has really stepped up. I mean, there aren't a lot of games where Mifflin goes 0-6 in the early game, and Delta Marine gets shut down and can't do player damage even until 33 minutes, where Obey wins. Like, that's just not their formula. Their formula is get Delta Marine and Mifflin ahead, and Deworse to some extent as well, and let them roll. None of those happened this game. It has been Zaxi since the team fighting stage. He's been the light in the darkness for sure for Obey.
Engaging in the middle lane, there's going to be trouble for Delta Marine, half HP for the Hotwa player. Now grouped up as 5, Osric barely getting out of there, and avoiding the Jingu bang. Dwarfs, again, just barely getting into the cloud, but as Dino saw, that ain't getting nowhere. Zaxi takes down the Tree Man, 5-4. Obey Alliance with the power play.
And that was a great play, because Dinosaur actually pulled Delta Marine through the wall and started off that fight beautifully for Eanix, and I just can't believe that they ended up on the bottom end of that engagement already.
Pluck coming in from the Sobek. It's going to put Predators in a bad spot, in a terrible spot, in the worst spot. Still alive, going to make it back, but Zaxi gets another kill. Double digits for the Hunter. That said, Vapor versus the world. He gets 1, he gets 2, there's a 3rd, looking for the 4th, can't find it. Lifesteal, save his life, looking for it. That's number 4, and number 5 just a shot away. Vapor on the run, chasing down PB and Jelly. The jump is good. The Sobek is out of there. Vapor's still going to give chase, but ladies and gentlemen, this one man finding the entirety of the team on the defensive stop. Vaporish Coast, pentakill.
What a play by Vaporish Coast. I mean, you want to talk about a guy, and we're talking about Zaxi. Oh, his team fight's so good. Zac. Vapor just says, how about me, boys? I'm getting a penta.
He's still barking.
Here.
He's still barking. He's still yelling at him.
I love it. I absolutely love it. What a play. And again, in my mind, so much credit goes to Dinosaur for starting off that engagement by pulling in Delta Marine. He has to use purification beads and the ultimate defensively. And then Predators comes in. Osric also played that fight beautifully. I mean, talk about a guy who's getting in there and sacrificing himself for the good of the team. He gets in the back line and takes everyone's attention away from Vaporish. They all turn to kill the Circuit, and it's just an Uller slinging auto attacks, getting them one after another, and ends up getting all 5 all by himself.
And that nonsense, he's low when he jumps in 1 versus 3. Again, I made the joke calculated aggression before, but that ain't no joke this time. This was Vaporish understanding, I'm a hunter, I'm going to one-shot the Hebo, I'm going to two-shot this other guy, and then I'll chase down the support, and I can do this. He jumps in with 10% HP, understanding, he even switches to Axe Form to get the lifesteal against the Sun Wukong. Everything about that play was just Vapor understanding his character and the situation, puts up 24 for Eanix, 5 of which came in that team fight, which Obey win the game if he falls.
Absolutely. And you want to talk about having a LAN debut?
Yes.
This is this kid's second game on LAN.
Out of control. Like I said, I mean, if that one man, if he doesn't exist, this game is Obey Alliance's. He is the reason we're seeing a Fire Giant dance.
And now it's all set back to even. No Phoenixes down on either side. Some towers still standing for Obey Alliance, but we're 37 minutes in. Those aren't really relevant, especially when my man just bought a 3K pot. He got a pentakill without one.
Yep.
What do you think he's doing with one?
Well, there's the toss on Osric, able to dash away, thankfully, to the Circuit kit. Predators, however, stuck a little bit deeper. PB and Jelly taking big shots. Vapor going to be able to walk away. Fire Giant leashed one more time.
Most important cooldown exchange there, Purification Beads onto Osric. But remember, he has built very tanky so far.
Predator saw Sobek back. Predator saw Sobek back. That's the green light for Eanix to start the Fire Giant. Vapor has to keep an eye on his right-hand side. Sees him. The Magi's Blessing is better. Now Vapor trying to deal with Obey worse. Fire Giant leashed. Fight began. Predator's low. Ultimate expended.
Predator's very low. Zaxby's ult did a great job of zoning away everybody there. Now it's Obey Alliance pushing forward. Keep an eye on Delta Marine. He's got that blink ult available.
Really good play coming out from Zaxby. One more time. Just by himself kind of pushing everybody out. Now Fire Giant maintained control by Obey Alliance. Osric looking for the flank around while everybody trying to control the rest of the team. Fire Giant brought down to 25% HP. Players need to get in there, and that's exactly what they'll do. Dinosaur, not in his own choice, gets plucked and thrown. Here comes Predators, the blink flip onto Dwarves. Doesn't have the ultimate. He's gonna be gone. Fly on the good side. Osric in trouble, being chased out. Flipped into the water hands right there, coming out from Delta Marine. It's a 1-for-1 so far.
Mifflin in the front line. This time he's healthy. For once, not the focus of this team fight. It's a 1-for-1. And again, it's Osric who goes down for Dwarst. And those are essentially the same role. They're two frontliners as Jelly goes for the pull and misses it, but Dinosaur does not.
Right into the ultimate. Jelly having that ult is so important right there. Otherwise, he's toasted like strudel. Not going to happen. 25-19. Obey Alliance and Eanix reset. 38 minutes in.
Man, what an engagement that was. I mean, both sides. Osric loses the Purification Beads early on, but I love his positioning coming around this left-hand side wall into the back line really, really well, right on top of Delta Marine. But that was really good damage by Delta Marine to use the crushing wave right before Osric hits him with the ultimate, and that's what ends up getting the trade. Also, Jelly has been on point with the majority of his plucks in the late game. He has set up so much for this Obey roster.
That's the trouble, is that both these teams are doing well. Dinosaur, you
just can't be here,
man. You can't do this.
Just can't be here. Zaxby's going to take a lot of damage. Actually has to egg as his 50-meter fly is going to go in, looking for the kill. Zach up into the air, trying to delay, but he's very low. Another perfect pluck by Jelly.
He's still alive.
And Dinosaur gets bailed out.
He's still alive. He should not be. Predators going a little deep. This was an escape plan, not a takeover. Walk away.
But, I mean, look at what Obey just expended. Aegis for Zaxby, Beads from Delta Marine. You look at the Shell from Jelly as well. And on the other side, Eanix, they commit a couple ultimates, yeah, but those ults are going to come up much sooner than those Relics will on the side of Obey Alliance, and Relics in the late game are absolutely critical to staying alive, especially when you're talking about as much CC as both of these rosters have.
I mean, those are depending on the ultimate. I'd rather go into a fight without my ult than my beads at this point in the game.
Agreed. I mean, even on like Hobwa, where my ultimate is, you know, one-shot someone, I mean, my two-shot someone. So give me beads, dude. I'll use the ultimate whenever I need it later on.
What an unexpected nail-biter.
This has been a great game. This has been one of my favorite games in a long time.
This is good old-fashioned Smite, and everything. A big part of it is the scenario. The Eanix is the team that, and you know, I don't want to be that guy, but I saw potential in this team a long time ago. I think a lot of people did. Osric specifically coming through. This whole roster starting just good stuff. Right now they're starting the Fire Giant. They're releasing it. Just trying to see. They're trying to see how awake Obey is right here.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've got to be feeling it, man. They've got to be feeling the nerves. As Jelly a little bit off the mark, but does get the Nkile passive there. Osric wants to go aggressive. There's a blink in for Predators. He's going to get one, and it's Delta Marine. He needs to die, and he will. Vaporish Coast gets him with the kill.
Number 10 for the Hunter on the side of Europe. Now Predators looking for another one. That's going to be the support. Mifflin very low. There's the kill out of the mid lane mage. Dwarst barely alive, chased out on the right-hand side. Eanix, they could go all the way aggressive, chase into the base. Instead, opting to play it safe. I think this is the discipline a newer team needs, and I love it.
I wonder if they're going to be able to get this and push for the mid Phoenix right away, though. I mean, we're talking 40+ seconds. I'd like to see them ignore this portal demon and go straight for the mid lane, but instead they're going to go for the safer call. You got to take advantage while you have it and try and get it. I mean, the towers they're going to be giving up anyway, so trying to push for one of those right away isn't really too relevant. Honestly, instead of just going for Fire Giant, I think I prefer Eanix pushing down mid, getting mid Phoenix, and then resetting for Fire Giant. Phoenixes are more important than Fire Giant at this stage. I mean, we saw what Eanix was able to do against the defense for Obey's Fire Giant. I mean, Eanix got a Fire Giant earlier that Obey defended underneath the tier 2 tower. Fire Giant isn't the game ender anymore.
Real or not real? Mental fortitude because of Fire Giant. Do you just go into a fight stronger because we got FG?
I go into a fight stronger because I've got numbers. I'm not a big believer in that. I think that it really does give you more in terms of stats than it does mentally. Going for the 5v3 push under the Phoenix there, I think, is much more valuable for Eanix.
Well, now it's a 5-on-5, and Dinosaur is going to be served up. 3-man knockup coming out from the resulting ultimate. Here comes help from Predators, tossing Mifflin, but he's so damn tanky, the team doesn't do anything to him, and it looks like Coach Aggro was correct. The mid lane Phoenix doesn't even take a hit.
I mean, look at how tough it's been for these teams to siege Phoenixes during Super Regionals. How many defenses did we see? Now, Eanix had some sustain, especially with the Fire Giant, so they get to retry, but they lost 2 pretty important ultimates on their Guardians.
Still, one more push coming out. Emperor's armor on the side of Obey, not on Eanix. That's definitely worth noting.
Zaxi got poked out pretty nicely between the Odysseus bow from Vaporish and the Raiju bounces from 50-meter fly.
Predators gets the flip on a Mifflin who takes a ton of damage. Osric with the chase down. The assassin takes him out. There's a pull on a Jelly. Dinosaur gets a pull, but no follow-up damage.
Jelly
I spoke too soon. Jelly gets sandwiched. Vapor finds number 11. Fly puts number 30 on the board. That's another kill for Osric. 4 players on Obey lines are down. The Phoenix is down as well. And ladies and gentlemen, the game 2 will go to Eanix.
What a performance by Eanix. It turned into